Hi, I'm Sherri Retif. Thank you for watching the presentation on the integration of sport and spirituality with an emphasis on holistic coaching. Sports in our culture. Sports are very popular in our culture with all ages. The Aspen Institute in 2019 reported that 61% of all youth played on a sports team. That same year, the National Federation of High School Sports reported that 57% of all high school students played on a team. Those are some staggering numbers. When you ask parents why they introduce their children to sports at such an early age, they say because of the physical, emotional, and social growth opportunities. Well, I believe there's also spiritual growth opportunities. I believe grace builds through nature, through our everyday experiences, particularly in sports that provide healthy competition, right relationship, and self-discovery. So what do I mean when I use the word spirituality? My preference is David Perrin's definition. He believes spirituality is a lived reality in search of meaning, value, and purpose that can be nurtured through interpersonal relationships with a capacity for transcendence. In my 3 decades of coaching, my writings, and research, I believe there are 3 recurring spiritual themes in high school sports that truly correlate with this definition. Athletes are seeking connection, a sense of belonging. They're seeking purpose, meaning-making opportunities, and they're also seeking validation, usually through right relationships. So how do you nurture the spiritual values in sports? I think it's essential to use holistic coaching and build a context with these 6 components. Number 1, healthy competition. Number 2, thoughtful communication. Number 3, team cohesion. Number 4, shared vision. Number 5, storytelling. And number 6, rituals and traditions. And we'll break down each one. So what is healthy competition? Healthy competition places an emphasis on power with as opposed to power over. This includes respect for teammates, coaches, opponents, officials, and respect for the game. If we look at the picture on the right, this is a true story of a college game where the athlete in red hit a home run. And as she rounded first base, she twisted her knee and couldn't stand up. So the umpire informed her that he could not score her hit as a home run. When the opponents heard this, they said, well, we'll help her around the bases. And they picked her up and they carried her around the bases all the way home. And I think this is a great example of sportsmanship, and it's also a focus on appropriate goals. The next component is thoughtful communication, which creates respect and trust. And we like to meet with our athletes 3 times a year, preseason, midseason, and postseason. And it's basically just to let them know you want to hear where they are. It validates them, and it keeps you in touch with what's going on and what's stirring inside. It also helps them with discernment. I've posted our team discussion ground rules as well. This was created by my assistant, Jim Ronan. And these rules are used when we have a team meeting where we have to have a tough conversation, where we don't want to sweep things under the rug and we want to be as transparent as we can. But we need to keep the focus on a growth mindset and moving through the challenging times. There'll always be challenging times in competition, but it's how you move through them that really dictates your growth. The next component is team cohesion, which creates a sense of belonging. And we believe in building the team from the inside out and from the ground up. And this requires daily attention and guiding principles. Our rules are very small. We ask the students to be at practice, be on time, and be respectful. We allow them to police their own choices, and it creates more ownership. We also rely heavily on student leadership. We have not just captains, but we have a leadership council. We also will create captains for the day and give shout outs to student leaders on a daily basis. We believe in an ethics of care with a player-first mentality. Our coaches are responsible for modeling right relationships, and we're not afraid to say, oops, that we've made a mistake. This actually takes the coaches off the pedestal, and it kind of eliminates the perfectionism that can permeate a competitive program. The next component is shared vision. And this creates meaning and purpose and self-discovery. And with a shared vision, we ask the students to hold not only their individual goals, but the team goals simultaneously. And it's a constant sifting through and putting self-sacrifice and then embracing self-fulfillment, but also team fulfillment at the same time. And it creates an atmosphere where you can be vulnerable, you can recognize your strengths, but also your limitations. And it also invites the students to celebrate one another and not be threatened by a teammate's success. Storytelling is the next component, and this leads us to wisdom and truth. And I love this quote by Rachel Naomi Raymond. She says, "Stories that touch us in the place of common humanness awaken us and weave us together. Facts bring us to knowledge, but stories lead us to wisdom." We provide several opportunities for storytelling within the program. I think the biggest one is when the seniors write a short testimonial to their teammates at the start of senior year with what the season is what the hopes are for the season, but what it means to be a part of the program. It really sets the tone. We also have daily check-ins, and we'll ask students to bring a symbol or something that is very meaningful, that connects them with their earliest memories of basketball, and little holiday celebrations that also allow them to tell stories of their background or their families. So it helps us to get to know our athletes not as just basketball players. And then the final is rituals and traditions, which create a culture of caring and sparks of joy. And it can be simple little details, but things like psych bags for the bus rides or service activities, game day shout outs or practice shout outs, holiday traditions, game day captains, pregame meals, senior day. Each year, the team creates their own rituals and traditions. We have this really cool tradition where we step on the court together every day at practice, which indicates that we're leaving everything off the court and we're just coming together to enjoy the next 2 hours of practice. So Adrian von Kamm says, "An experience of awe is the beginning of spirituality." And I believe that we can tap into these spiritual values when we're coaching our young athletes and look at our team as small faith communities. And when they learn to participate in small faith communities, it actually prepares them for later life as they enter the bigger world around them. If you have any questions, my email is right here. Thanks so much for watching, and also check out my website. I'm also a spiritual director. Have a great day. Thanks.